So this week's hobby project started exactly how most projects start these days, with me staring at a single Ork Boy for about 20 minutes, wondering if I actually have the energy to paint.
A few moments later.
Or sit and watch painting videos instead. And honestly, I think a lot of us end up that way. But this week, I just wanted a chilled hobby session. No massive challenge, no speed painting and stress, no trying to reinvent the wheel. So this week, we're painting an old school style Ork Boy. Loads of vibrant greens, bright colours, maybe some checker patterns, and all out fun. Proper 90s energy. And this one's going to be slightly different to normal. And while we paint, I'm going to talk about a lot of the stuff that's upcoming recently. UK Games Expo, Warhammer Skulls, the upcoming live stream event from Warhammer, showcasing 11th edition, and also how people balance hobby time with full-time jobs in general life and not completely burn themselves out. When I first got into Warhammer years ago, I used to think adults had all the time in the world to paint. I genuinely thought adults had unlimited hobby time. As a kid, you always imagine grown-ups coming home from work, painting under perfect conditions, drinking expensive coffees and having an absolute whale of a time. But in reality, it's more like this. You get home tired, you got washing to do, you got responsibilities to look after, you sit down and then eventually your brain just goes, what if instead we just sat and stared at unpainted models for hours and felt guilty? There's something special about orcs though. I generally think orcs are one of the main reasons people get into this hobby. They don't care about the perfection, the paint can be messy, the checkered patches can be wonky, the rust can go everywhere, and somehow it still works. That's why I wanted this video to just feel relaxed. No pressure, just straight up hobbying. And with Armageddon just around the corner, I wanted to lean into that old school 90s vibe. Proper nostalgia, bright goblin green bases, vibrant skin tones, big chunky highlights, colours that literally scream from across the table. Because when you think back to the old school White Dwarf magazines, everything looked fun. Not hyper realistic, not perfectly shaded and desaturated. Just loud colours and pure personality. And honestly, I think we lose that a lot whilst trying to chase perfection. So this year, I'm actually going to make it to UK Games Expo. I'm genuinely excited for this one. It's my first time going. And I feel like I'm going to walk in and be absolutely overwhelmed with everything going on.
Yeah!
1 minute, I'll be browsing peacefully. And then the next, I'll be buying terrain, dice, tools, scenery, you name it. But the main thing I'm actually looking forward to is being surrounded by all the hobbyists all in one area. Because unless you're already deep into this hobby, most people don't understand us. They don't understand when we get excited over new paints, washes, tools. They don't understand why we own 47 paint pots that are near the same shade as each other. And they definitely don't understand how a full army can cost as much as a washing machine nowadays. But events like UK Games Expo are different. Everyone there gets it. I'm really looking forward to meeting other creators too. Because one thing I've realised is how motivating it can be to be surrounded by other people creating channels, even careers from this. Painting armies, making interesting stuff, dioramas, you name it. And then on top of that, we've got Warhammer Skulls coming up, which basically means if you're into Warhammer, you've got so much stuff to look forward to. And honestly, this is why I love this time of year. There's rumours, reveals, trailers, and previews. And there's probably going to be one thing that everybody lose their minds over for the next few weeks coming up. And somewhere, there's guaranteed to be someone creating a 40-minute rant about Space Marines. And what I'm also really curious about is the new live stream coming up on the 25th, where they're going to be showcasing a few games of 11th edition live on YouTube. Big events, big reveals, more engagement. And whether you love it or not, that's what keeps this hobby exciting. I think that's part of why I've stayed in the hobby for so long. I've always been terrible for getting the hobby for a few months, get all the gear, and then get fed up with it. But it's something with Warhammer that brings me back every time. Whether it's a new army, a new game mode, or a new technique, there's always something that draws me back. Or in my case, another reason to start an unfinished project. But honestly, one thing I've always suffered with, on and off, is hobby burnout. And I know loads of people deal with this, especially when you work full time and got stressful projects going on behind the scenes. Because when you finish a long day at work, it almost feels like a chore to go home and start doing a hobby project. And to top all that off, now I've started YouTube, it's almost added extra pressure onto it. Because now you're not just painting, you're filming, you're editing, you're promoting, thinking about thumbnails, analytics, worrying about your titles, and then even wondering if the algorithm even recognises your existence.
Is she? Who is she? Who is she?
And then somehow, you've got to try and find that energy to enjoy painting again. So one thing I've been trying to do recently is just slow it down a bit. Not every project needs to be the best thing I've ever painted. Sometimes people just want something real, something they can relate to. A chilled hobby, a conversation, something they can throw on after work in the background just to chill and paint. And honestly, these are the kinds of videos I enjoy watching too. Now onto a quick montage. This is probably one of my favourite parts of painting. When everything starts to look rough, then all of a sudden, everything comes together. It starts looking like a complete piece. And there we go. One very loud, very green, very vibrant Ork Boy. It doesn't always have to be serious. It doesn't always have to be perfect. Sometimes you need to just throw some paint around, find your feet and enjoy the hobby again. Because balancing work, life and responsibilities is hard sometimes. And if you're feeling burnt out recently, you're not the only one. So I'd love to know in the comments, how do you handle hobby burnout? Do you hobby for a few hours every day? Do you hobby only at the weekends? Or do you batch paint? Or are you sat on 17 unfinished projects, pretending everything's under control? And also let me know. And if you're going to UK Games Expo, what are you going to be looking out for? And what do you want to try and play? What are you looking forward to in Warhammer Skulls? And what do you think is coming next? Thanks for hanging out with me in this chilled video. I genuinely appreciate every one of you that takes your time to sit and watch these videos. And until the next one, stay creative, stay chaotic, and keep those paint pots from getting dry.